Everybody in the building. Today's show is a very, very important show, and it's it's sad that I find myself having to even educate anyone in this particular matter with the specifics in this case. But it's my job to get in here and get the information out. That way, well, you guys got it. So, without further ado, you know what time it is, man. Let me get into my show. Shout out to everybody in the building. I want to say thank you for everybody for tuning into the building today. Today is a very, very important show. Today's show, we will be disclosing some facts of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s murder. I will not only present facts that was actually tried in United States courts, but I also will be allowing you guys to listen to the audio of the actual lawyer that tried the case. Without further ado, I need you guys to get into this. If anyone at this point isn't aware of what's going on in this country, you will be. Everyone in power at this particular time, and at this particular time of the death of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., were globalist Democrats. And there were some globalist Republicans as well working with them, the Bush family, and there are some other individuals but that's for tomorrow's show. Tomorrow's show, I will dive into how the Democrats also killed JFK. So, everyone, black, white, poor, American, I have some distasteful things to show you, but it's something that I have to give you. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Have a dream speech, which perhaps has as much meaning today alongside other dreams, like, well, not that one changed everything we knew about Martin Luther King's death. And yet, most people still don't know about it. 15 years ago, the only trial ever held concerning the murder of Martin Luther King Jr. was concluded.
In
and
1999.
No, it wasn't done in someone's basement under the cover of tinfoil hats. It's something that changed everything we...
In 1999 is when this trial happened, people. So this video is dated. So please be aware that this video is dated, but this trial did happen in 1999 in the United States Court of Law.
About Martin Luther King's death. And yet, most people still don't know about it. 15 years ago, the only trial ever held concerning the murder of Martin Luther King Jr. was concluded. And no, it wasn't done in someone's basement under the cover of tinfoil hats. There wasn't anyone with the word Illuminati carved in their forehead. And no, the jury wasn't made. In 1999, a jury found U.S. government agencies, along with others, guilty of assassinating MLK in Memphis in 1968. After hearing...
because over 70 witnesses came out. Now look at Jesse Jackson. Look at Jesse Smollett. Jesse Jackson is Jesse Jackson was put in place by the FBI and the CIA. Jesse Jackson was an informant for the FBI in the details of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And this is how the FBI continuously had recordings of Dr. King having sex with other women and drinking and talking. And although these things are they're bad things. Committing adultery on your wife is a bad thing. They weren't the demise of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The demise of him was inactive government and black people within his own party. Jesse wanted all the power for himself. He wanted the glory for himself. Jesse was not as magnetic as Dr. Martin Luther King was. And he sold him out.
From 70 witnesses, including Lloyd Jowers, who assisted the sniper and owned Jim's Grill, from which the shot was fired. The jury took less than an hour to decide that.
And that's just my own interpretation of Jesse Jackson. Putting everything together, wondering why they killed everyone but Jesse. How Jesse got comfortable and got cushion after he misappropriated all the Donald Trump funds, after he lied to Donald Trump and had Donald Trump invest into his business. You know the business? Rainbow Coalition. Because it was supposed to be in a foundation, but it was his business. He was pocketing Donald Trump's money. And he also gave Donald Trump a Lifetime Achievement Award for funding the Rainbow Coalition. How racist can Donald Trump really be?
Multiple government agencies were responsible for the murder. 2, James Earl Ray, the man we've always been told pulled the trigger, had nothing to do with it. And 3, the mainstream media is a stain on the soul of this country. A tarnish so deep and dark it makes the Bermuda Triangle look like a slip and slide. Or perhaps a Crocodile Mile. If your parents were stingy and wanted to make sure the other kids laughed at you. James Earl Ray signed a confession because he was told it was the only way he'd get a trial. Once he realized he would get no trial, he recanted his confession.
Now, do you see how they also use white people too? This white man was innocent. He spent every day, or the rest of his day, in jail for a crime that he did not commit. He was abused, he was ridiculed, he received death threats, he probably was abused physically for it. And all in all, because he was able to be a patsy for these 1% bastards.
And maintained his innocence until his death. Even Coretta Scott King and the King family said he was innocent. On the other hand, the 20th Special Forces Group was shown to have a sniper team at the location of King's murder. This is a significant development because snipers are good at putting bullets through things from a large distance away, okay? And it just so happens Martin Luther King had a bullet shot through him from a large distance away. Something tells me the sniper team wasn't at Jim's Grill that evening for delectable cooking. Motto, barbecue ribs are trigger finger licking good. So you're telling me, under U.S. law, the U.S. government has been found to have assassinated one of the 10 most courageous, most beloved American leaders, and most people in this country still don't know it? I can't turn on a TV without hearing...
So when I tell you that the FBI is following me, you think I'm crazy? I got people telling me I'm crazy. 5,000 followers, how could you be that important? Because I'm telling the truth. Because they know I'm ready to die. Wake up, people.
That some rapper is guilty of weapons charges, or Kim Kardashian is guilty of showing too much side boob, or Donald Trump is guilty of being a bucket brimming full of douche. Everybody in this country knows every step, breath, orgasm, and spasm that involves Justin Bieber, Taylor Swift, or Brad Pitt. Can't avoid it. Can't not know it even if you try. Yet this government, our own damn government, was found guilty in a court of law of straight up murdering a peaceful disobedience icon, a legend who led the American people out of the dark ages, a modern day prophet, number 5 on the list of greatest Americans behind only George Washington, Ben Franklin, Lassie, and Balky from Perfect Strangers. All right? And
whoever didn't like Balky from Perfect Strangers is an enemy, because Balky was loved.
that's impressive because Balky wasn't even American.
And if it wasn't for Balky, there would be no Steve Urkel, because that's where family members got their start from. Carl Winslow was the security officer that worked in the building that they worked in, which was the newspaper.
They were.
That's how much this brain here was. My memory is ridiculous. I remember everything since I was 3 years old.
Found guilty by a jury in 1999, and we never heard a word of it? Even if you're
Like that, 4.
one of those people who want to go, it was a civil trial, that doesn't matter at all. Does that mean we're not entitled to hear about it and make our own decision? Because there was not a peep from the media. To this day, you're more likely to hear a news anchor, you're more likely to see a news anchor breastfeed an adult man in a diaper live on the news at 5 than you are to see them mention the only trial ever held on the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr. In the words of Mother Teresa, what the is going on around here?
Shout out to them. The link is in the description, but we got one more. I'm gonna let this brother go ahead and break it down on RT, because what we're gonna do now is we're gonna listen to the actual lawyer that tried the case in 1999 that brought the 70 witnesses that found the government guilty. And why am I saying that Democrats killed Martin Luther King Jr.? Because Democrats were in power. LBJ was a Democrat. He was actually the one that they wanted in office. That's the reason why JFK was actually killed, because JFK actually he was a Democrat, but he was definitely a conservative Democrat. He still had a lot of conservative values. He wanted to change the condition of Black America, and that he was against the big boys club of, the secret societies. He's actually done JFK has actually given a speech on this specific fact. Tomorrow, I was going to get into Chicago today, and I know it's important for me to reach these things, and I will, but what it's important for me to do for a lot of Americans, in order for us to hear, is for us to see how ugly it's been and how long we've been lied to. That way we're angry enough to start listening to each other, stop fighting one another. People tell me that what I'm doing or what I'm trying to do will never happen, and that I am not the guy that will get it done. I'm almost always told that this is something that I will never see happen because of people like the man that I'm currently doing the show of today. The reason why I'm doing the show today about this and not about Chicago yet is because if the person is right, then I don't get to see everything through like this man did. At least I told this man's story. At least I opened people's eyes and told people that he was doing exactly what needed to be done at that time that he thought, and they killed him for it. My approach is one that is like his, but also like Malcolm's. Meaning we're going to get this done by any means. I am not going to allow anyone to harm you or harm me. Although I do not advocate violence, and it is something that I'm strongly against, I surely do advocate self-defense. The right to preserve one's life and all property. Let's get back into it.
Mr. William Pepper, thank you so much for being here.
Good to be with you.
Much like the soda that shares your name, I think the truth you reveal is refreshing, and yet many people tell us not to consume it. So I think it's appropriate. But I've read your book, The Plot to Kill King. It's excellent, and thank you for so many years of work. I'm going to try and go through this for people that are kind of uninitiated, haven't followed this for 50 years now, and you know.
White people were such racists. Why did this man work so hard to uncover the truth?
Go through it as well as we can. You put forward that James Earl Ray was not the killer. He was just a patsy, a fall guy, and in this book, for the first time, I think, at least in a book, you name who you believe is the actual shooter of Martin Luther King Jr., which we'll get to in a moment. But first of all, I want to go back to just start with James Earl Ray's confession. You knew him. You were his lawyer for some years. Why did he confess, and then why did he recant that confession?
Well, James made the mistake of substituting Percy Foreman as his defense counsel for the Haynes father and son team. The Haynes father and son team were determined to have a trial for James because they knew there wasn't enough evidence to convict him of the assassination, of the murder. So Percy Foreman came on the scene and sort of forced his way into the case. And he promised James also that he would arrange for a trial. And he, of course, was well known as a exemplary criminal lawyer, defense lawyer. So James got conned into taking him. Now, after a period of time, Percy changed his tune. And he said he had come to the conclusion that the only way that Ray's life could be saved was that if he, in fact, agreed to accept the plea. James didn't want to do that at all, but Percy said, look, they're determined to get you. But the critical point that he made was that his health was failing. And he said, my health is failing, I'm not going to be able to give you a good defense. And that was the tip-off to James. So what Percy then went on to say was, look, you cop this plea, you take this plea, I will arrange for $500 to go to your brother, and that $500 you can use to hire a new lawyer, and you can reopen the case, and then you can go forward. But that is something that I think needs to be done on your behalf.
James Earl Ray stuck with that. After he recanted, he stuck with the fact that he did not commit this murder for the rest of his life, despite offers of freedom and a lot of money, correct?
Oh, there's no question about it. And what happened was that James took the $500 from Percy and was preparing to file reopen the case. Of course, that never got anywhere, got bogged down. And I didn't meet James until really 10 years after the killing. I met him in August of '78 when Reverend Abernathy asked me to go and interrogate him because Abernathy was having some questions.
So when the globalists want, the globalists can kill a black man and throw a white man out there, the race bait, the shit these Democrats do. They threw a white man out there, made him responsible for killing Dr. King, when in fact, the Democratic establishment sent the 20th Division Army forces there. And not only that, at the time where King was killed, there was, I believe, only 2 officers in the department. And initially, one of the officers, and you go check this if you don't believe it, initially, one of the officers actually assigned to detail Dr. King, and he was called off by his superior, and he was sent to a whole different part of the county, far away from Dr. Martin Luther King.
So it took me a while to prepare. I thought they had the right guy. And I went up to the prison, and we spent 5 hours with James, and I put him through a great deal of a stressful interrogation. And we came away from that meeting with a firm belief that he was not the shooter. But we didn't know what knowing role he might have played. So that was '78. I kept visiting him, and he raised enough issues that caused me to start going into Memphis and asking questions and effectively starting a private investigation. When I would visit him, he kept asking me to represent him, and I said, no, I can't do that till I'm sure you were not a knowing participant. That took 10 years. It was not until 1988 that I became convinced, and I finally agreed to represent him.
And Ray actually had an alibi that was kind of never brought forward, right? Two men, William Reed and Ray Hendricks, saw a man driving away from the area of the murder before the murder took place in a white Mustang that James Earl Ray owned, and this corroborated Ray's statement that he left the area to go fix a flat spare tire, but the state basically suppressed that evidence, right?
That's exactly right. We found it on the bottom of a file cabinet of documents on the case that had just been buried. The statements that you mentioned had just been buried.
Okay, so the official story for people that don't know is that James Earl Ray, acting alone, shot King from the bathroom window of a boarding house that looked across to King's hotel room. That bathroom was above Jim's Grill, which was owned by Lloyd Jowers. And then Jowers in 1993 confessed, and he confessed on television, actually, on Primetime Live, to facilitating the assassination with people other than James Earl Ray. Talk about Jowers' confession, and then talk some about the 1999 civil trial in which you represented Coretta Scott King and the King family.
Yeah, well, Lloyd Jowers was in a very difficult position. He had been out in the bushes with the shooter and the shooter's spotter, and he was the one who carried the rifle into the through the back door into his kitchen, and he broke it down in front of his girlfriend, Betty Spates, who for years refused to make any statement about this, but she had actually seen Lloyd running in, white as a ghost, perspiring, and running by her, breaking the rifle down, saying to her, "You would never do anything to hurt me, Betty, would you?" And of course she said, "No, of course not, Lloyd." And then she saw him break the rifle down.
Everything that he's detailing has been solidified as facts in a court of law as of 1999.
And take it out in front. It was finally in 1992 that I was able to develop a relationship sufficient enough after a number of years that Betty Spates told me this whole story. So Jowers, yes, admitted that, and we had that information, and so, excuse me, we backed it up, and we confronted him, and he was afraid that he was going to be indicted. So he didn't know that the fix was very solidly put in. So we had him, I had him make the statement before Dexter King and myself, and then he repeated it for Andrew Young and Dexter King. So Jowers put himself very much in the frame. Jowers was frightened, so he then decided to cooperate with us. The 1999 trial happened the year after James died. James died in prison in 1998. And we had nowhere to go, so we thought, and then it occurred to me that because we had what we had on Jowers, we could start a civil action. So we brought the civil action in Memphis, Tennessee, in 1999. Trial went on for 30 days, 70 witnesses, and clearly laid out all of the evidence that we had at that point in time that had never been made available to the criminal court or an evidentiary hearing. And it was a powerful presentation with all those witnesses, and the King family really thought that it brought closure for them.
Yeah, and it's really kind of an amazing thing when, at least my personal experience, when I tell people about that civil trial, the only trial ever held about King's murder, and, you know, first they're totally shocked, and then they go and they do some of their own research, and one of the first things that comes up in the Google results for the trial is Snopes, which is known for refuting internet claims. And in the Snopes article, they say, oh, the civil trial was meaningless, and they claim that Jowers story changed too much and he was in it for the money. How do you know Jowers was speaking the truth?
Well, I believe Lloyd Jowers was speaking the truth because he told the same story consistently. He didn't change his story. Once he decided to come forward, he told the story, and the story matched the evidence we had. We had Betty Spates who saw him bring the rifle in, break it down, and there she was at a party who was very concerned about Jowers and actually thought he was the shooter for a number of years. Up until the time that I dissuaded her of that, she thought Lloyd was the shooter. Then we had taxi driver McCraw, who said Jowers showed him the rifle he had wrapped and broken down. Was holding it on a shelf under the counter in the grill. And McCraw said he saw it, and Jowers told him that this was the weapon that killed King, and someone was coming by to pick it up. And so we had other corroboration about what Jowers was saying that made us confident that he was telling the truth, and there was no reason for him not to tell the truth, because we had the corroboration, and he was very afraid.
In 1999,
Yeah, I mean, you brought forward.
In 1999, in a court of law, it's been proved that state officials, local law enforcement, and FBI, as well as the United States government, were all complicit murder of Martin Luther King Jr. At the time, the established government party that had control was the Democratic Party. There were globalists on both sides, and the only reason why the agenda of globalism was being held up was because he was a fruitcake, Hoover, but Hoover had information on anyone and everyone that had power in government. It's crazy because in a very perverted way, he loved America, but he was mentally retarded. He cross-dressed, and that's not what made him mentally retarded, even though I believe to some degree that's an illness. He was mentally retarded in the fact that he hated blacks, like he was black. That's a mental disorder. To hate someone because of his appearance is a mental disorder. Like you can't like everyone you see. You can't want to have sex with them. That's the only reason why you should be gauging someone's appearance, or it's to, maybe value something that they may have on or something like that. But I can't see hating someone based on the contingency of their appearance. Hoover wouldn't allow the government at the time to just run rampant and do what they're doing currently. They definitely had to include him, but they had to make sure that he never was actually in their true goal. So it's funny, but there's a saying that the devil has many tricks. They waited for Hoover to die. It was important for Hoover to die. And as soon as Hoover died, they ransacked his offices, his home, everything. Anything they could think of, looked at anything that they could. The mob had pictures of him dressed up in female garb. That's the reason why he didn't acknowledge the mob for a very, very long time. It is ridiculous to think that someone that was spit on, stabbed, bitten by a dog, walked hundreds of miles, and did so all in the name of peace. He was a Republican, because at that time, only white Republicans accepted African Americans. Every black leader that you hear speak at this time segregation, civil rights. Anytime you hear them speak against the government, you hear them speak against the democratic establishment. On a failed policy. The murder is history. They're trying to start a civil war. The only way there'll be a civil war is if someone touches my president. The only way there'll be a civil war if someone thinks they're going to hijack an election and don't get investigated by the FBI before we even go sit down. That's behind the head. But you see, you guys are good players, both play the genders. Problem is, there's too many cowards selling themselves. And the price is absolutely nothing to the people who understand what the end game is. These same pieces of shit that's in the news, not telling you about the actual violence between these illegal immigrants coming into this country, are the same ones that are lying to you about history. How many of you actually knew that the government was found guilty, killed Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? You know why you don't hear about it? Because the media is literally brought and owned. Same 5 companies that own all 14,000 radio stations and some 5,000 TV companies are the same ones that was pumping all that money into Crooked Hillary's fun of guns game. Because the only thing that comes with the Clintons is death. Especially for black people. Anyone telling you that they are with her or with anyone remotely close to her that was with her, that endorsed her, are criminals. All of them. Every last one. They tell you that Trump didn't denounce David Duke, and then there's a picture of this nigga kissing this bitch right in the face. Ever so passionately. So who was the congressman that was the KKK man? Whatever.
Roughly 70 witnesses, I think, in that civil trial, and you compare that to the only key state's witness against James Earl Ray was one man, Charlie, what was his name? Charlie Stevens.
Charlie Stevens.
Yeah, who was blackout drunk at the time. So you compare that to 70 witnesses, and it's kind of a preponderance of evidence.
Yes, I don't think there's any question about that.
So to get a little deeper in this, underneath the bathroom window where they say James Earl Ray took the shot was the back door to Jim's Grill, and there were also bushes there, and then there was a wall that led to the parking lot to King's Hotel. And many witnesses over the years have said they saw a man jump down from that wall by the bushes where the shot was taken. You've got Reverend Orange, you've got Solomon Jones, you got Earl Caldwell, Betty Spates, Lloyd Jower, Oliver Caitlin, and Louis Ward. All either saw a man jump down or were up there in the bushes with him. And you now believe the man who jumped down was Earl Clark, a Memphis police officer who acted as the spotter during the assassination. How did you come to that conclusion?
Well, for quite a period of time, I thought Clark was the shooter. He was one of the best shooters, second best probably to the actual shooter in the Memphis Police Force. And I thought it was Clark who was the shooter, until I uncovered a witness who was a janitor, Lenny Curtis, who was a janitor at the rifle range, and he described to me the activity and the actions of the real shooter, a fellow named Frank Strouser, and what he did the entire day in terms of practicing with the rifle that had been specially brought for him. Watched him practice hour after hour with that rifle, and then watched him take it away around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. But it was not only that. The Strouser had engaged in very violent talk about King, that someone was going to blow his effing head off and things of that sort. And then after the killing, when feeling a little bit nervous about the fact that Lenny was such a close position to everything that was going on at that rifle range, Strouser started intimidating him. And certainly whenever any story about the case came up, any documentary or any material came up, Strouser would make it a point of parking in an unmarked car outside of Lenny's house. One time Lenny was lighting a cigarette entering the door and he smelled smoke, so he put it out. Someone had turned on the gas. There was a V in a tree overlooking his kitchen window. And Strouser invited him to come along with him one day when he was going to pick up checks at the main police station, and it was a very intimidating ride where Strouser pressed him on who he actually thought killed King, and did he think Ray was the killer. And of course, Lenny did the best he could to lie because he thought his life was in danger. Well, I got that story, and we deposed Lenny under oath. He told the whole detail. We filmed him, but I couldn't use it for a number of years because I was afraid while Lenny was alive, if we used that story, they would kill him. So I had to hold that back. And it was during that period of time I became convinced that it was not Earl Clark, who was a very close friend of Strouser's. Not about friend, but colleague anyway of Strouser's. And I had to hold it back, but I turned my head toward the real shooter, and the person that went down over the wall was, in fact, Captain Earl Clark, who ran up the street and got into a waiting police car and was taken away.
We have to go to a quick break, but New York City, Atlanta, Chicago, and Washington, D.C. I have live comedy shows coming up in your town. Email redacted tonight. Not knowing where he says he was in his car and he heard it on the radio. The biggest incident to happen in Memphis' history, 2013, and it's truly incredible. I read the transcript. It's an incredible meeting. Because, you ask him where he was during the assassination, and he says at home. Then a moment later, he says he was in his car, and he heard it on the radio. Then he asks you what time of day the assassination took place. You say 6 o'clock. You say 6 o'clock, and he says a.m. or p.m. This all stunned me because this is the biggest incident to happen in Memphis' history, and he was an officer at the time, and all of a sudden, he doesn't know when the assassination happened, whether it was morning or night, where he was. This would be like a New York firefighter not knowing where he was or what time the towers fell.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he got bungled up there a bit, and of course, what he didn't know was I had arranged for another taxi driver, a colleague of his whom I'd known for 25 years. Remember, was on that case for a very long time. He used to spend a lot of time on the streets, a lot of time in bars, and that's how I got a lot of information, was just from average people. And I arranged for this one taxi driver colleague who knew Strouser very well, to jump in the back of his cab. This was Nathan Whitlock. Jump in the back of his cab and say, "Boy, I understand Pepper's got enough to put you away, and that they're going to charge you on this King case." Just put that right out there. Following the interview session I had with him, and Strouser's immediate response was, "What are they going to get me for something I did 30 years ago?" And then he stopped and said, "Or heard about." So Nathan caught him at that sensitive, critical period of time.
Yeah, it's totally incredible. And then when you say someone else has ID'd him as the shooter, he through the rest of the interview with you, he never says no or what or bullshit or all he keeps saying is, "I don't know why he would say that." So it struck me as just crazy that he would never say, "That's ridiculous."
Yeah. The thing I found most interesting about the meeting with Strauser was
shooter.
the size of
The shooter.
his shoes.
Right.
Because we had as evidence 2 plaster Paris casts of the shoes that we believe were the shoes, the cast of the shoes of the shooter as he was going back away from the scene, from the wall, because it had rained heavily the night before, and they were size 13 cast shoes. And when I asked him the size of his shoes, he gave me a slight grin and said, 13 large. He didn't even think of denying it, you know. He fit right in with the question.
Right, and also, although it doesn't look good for him, he couldn't help but brag about how he used to be an amazing shooter. He couldn't help but brag there. So I want to back up for a minute and go to one other piece of the book that really shocked me. Was that there's a part where you bring up Daniel Ellsberg, you know, for people that don't know, the man who leaked the Pentagon Papers in 1971, and you know, most people view him as one of the most noble and trustworthy sources out there. And he signed an affidavit back in the 70s saying that he was told by Brady Tyson, an aide of the UN ambassador Andrew Young, that they had said they were pretty sure they knew who killed King, and it was FBI officers working under J. Edgar Hoover. Talk a little about Ellsberg and also about how you think this is connected to Hoover.
Well, there's no doubt that from what the evidence that we've uncovered and I put forward in the plot to kill King, that Hoover...
So when you ask how could the FBI be legally investigating non-president,
was a very key player in the assassination of Martin Luther King. But he didn't come in by himself. He sent Clyde Tolson in all the time. Tolson carried out all of Hoover's wishes with respect to the Dixie Mafia group, who were the group on the ground who were responsible for carrying out the operation of the assassination. And Tolson would come in, and he would bring money, and he would bring instructions, and he even went on 2 overseas trips, private trips, with Russell Atkins, who was the father, the godfather, if you will, of the Dixie Mafia group. And Russell Atkins' son, Ron Tyler Atkins, as you know if you read Plot to Kill King, became a major witness for us because I deposed him over 2 days. And under oath, he just revealed so much information that was staggering. And of course, it involved Tolson and money that came from Hoover. And what was most surprising to me was the fact that they broke James Earl Ray out of prison, that he had been profiled as an ideal patsy, and once that had been done, in late 1967, Hoover sent in with Tolson $25,000 that Tolson gave to Adkins, that Adkins, along with his son, went to the prison and gave to the warden. And the job was, of course, to allow James Earl Ray to escape and to fix his escape, which they did. James never knew this. He never knew that his escape was arranged and that he was being set up at that earlier stage in '67. They brought the money in and set the thing up in '66.
so how could the FBI be illegally investigating the president making up shit?
And James
Think about it.
it was allowed to escape in April of 1967. So, but James didn't know this. But the Hoover involvement was critical. He obviously, from what we learned, had used this Dixie Mafia family, who related to the large mafia organization of Carlos Marcello. They used them for a lot of local work that had to be done. And we didn't get into that whole history, but we really focused on the extent to which they were useful in planning the assassination of Martin King.
And speaking of setting James Earl Ray up, he insisted there was a man who he only knew as Raul, who kind of led him around for months, and he did jobs for him, gun running, and he got Ray fake IDs. And your belief is that Raul was setting Ray up to be the fall guy. Now, the official story is that Raul never existed. It was something Ray invented in his mind. Explain how you know that Raul is a real person and who you believe it is.
Well, Raul Coelho was his name. Raul Coelho died, and he lived up on Alta Vista Avenue in Yonkers, New York. And he was an immigrant from Portugal. And in his history, he had been involved with Portuguese intelligence and overseas operations in Angola and Africa. So he was a fairly sophisticated guy, was brought in prior to the John Kennedy assassination. Now, we had 5 photographs of people whom we showed who had the capability of identifying Raul. Excuse me. And the Raul was in the spread of 5. James never identified anyone on a photograph as Raul, but this one he did. There was no question about it. And when we sent an investigator to Raul's house, knocked on the door, and his daughter answered and showed, she was shown this photograph of her father and said he's been identified as a man who handled and was James Earl Ray and was a facilitator of the assassination of Martin Luther King. She was nonplussed, and she said, no, that couldn't be. And anyway, anyone could get that picture of my father. Anyone, but she was effectively identifying the photograph as being that of her father. Now, along the road also, a woman named Graybo came forward, and she was able to put a good deal of flesh on the bones with respect to Raul and who he was and what he was involved in. And so we had no question over a period of time that this man existed. Then we had a British merchant seaman who was approached by Raul in Montreal in the same bar that James was in when he had escaped and he was trying to get out of the country. And in that bar, this merchant seaman, remembered being approached by this exact fellow. He identified the photograph and talking to him. So there was no question that he was there in the bar where James said he met him near the docks of Montreal on West Commissioner Street, where he was trying to get travel papers and get out of North America.
Right. So you had multiple witnesses where you showed them the 5 or 6 photos of various people, and they all.
People. No people. During this time, the Republican patriot, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was fighting for equality and civil rights that Republicans died for during the Civil War, was killed by Democrats, by globalistic Democrats, and some Republicans alike. When you go to look at this man's life, when you go to look at an underling, and you see him shot to death. Look at that. When you see him gone, his life extinguished. When you feel hate for white people, black people, I want you to think about this. The majority of you live in liberal democratic areas. The school system, even if you're not in a predominantly liberal area, are still created by liberals. But you're in a liberal area. Every time you receive any kind of racism, it's happened in these states where you live. If you're in New York and you've had someone do something racist to you, which I'm sure you have, they vote Democrat. This is a predominantly blue state. Wow. Hey people, I hope y'all hear me better now. Let me just do a check. I could have swore I heard myself. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah, New York. If you had someone do something racist to you, which I'm sure you have, they vote Democrat. Yeah, it's not me. I have that my whole. I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna tell you something that I have the best equipment that you can get. So, if there's something wrong with the feed or the feedback, people, it's YouTube. Like that's who it is. Like it's not me. Like I'm telling you right now, it's not me at all. Like I have the best equipment that you could get. Trust me, and I did not spend expense on getting it whatsoever. I got the best equipment you could get, and if it's any breakup in the audio, you're gonna have to blame it on YouTube. But black people, you live in urban areas predominantly, and these areas are liberal areas. Every time you received any kind of prejudice or bias, it's in the states in which you live because predominantly you do not travel enough to experience it anywhere else. This is a fact, brothers and sisters. Let's not argue with each other. Some of you can say that's a lie because I travel, but you travel. How many of your family members get to travel? I travel. I travel a lot. I travel a lot. But I have one family member who only left New York one time in like over 30 years. I know family members of mine who's never left New York State, like never left New York State, and they're well within their 50s. So when you experience racism, you're experiencing this by Democrats that live in the state which you live and vote blue. They are well aware that the policies that they are placing are killing you. Today's show was supposed to be about Chicago, so I might as well touch on it, right? In Chicago, currently, there were more people killed in Chicago than there was in two of our past wars. Shit you not, people, I'm not lying. Shit you not, people, I'm not lying. You have a mayor that literally gets to travel around with armed security. He has someone making his breakfast, his dinner. He sleeps in a big mansion full of security, while hundreds and thousands of black babies are slaughtered in the streets of Chicago. You know me, people, I'm an equal opportunist. Anybody gonna get this work on, I'm gonna get you there.
Mo have been killed in Chicago than in both wars combined.
This has been going on for quite some time, and the people who are keeping quiet are the community members themselves. They're the same ones who are in the most need of help, but they are scared to get help, they're scared to ask for help.
For one of the biggest street gangs, selling drugs was my only option that I thought to provide for my child at the time.
How easy is it to get a gun?
That easy. You want one?
We need to create a culture of accountability for picking up a gun and using it.
Beat that, baby. Remember me? Beat that. Hey, let me get that education.
She chose not to shoot this guy because she didn't want her family to go through the scrutiny the next day on national news.
We flip on the news and people become numbers. These are lives and these are human lives. And unfortunately, leadership has failed.
Unfortunately.
Yesterday, we told you about the NAACP's unprecedented travel advisory for African Americans going, traveling, living in Missouri.
Hold on, wait, because I know they want to fuck with
Surprisingly, the NAACP hasn't issued an advisory.
Because you know I'm going to say about this pussy fuck boy ass motherfucker right here. This the token nigga. I'm going to fuck what channel he on. I'm always going to keep it a buck with you. This is one token nigga ass motherfucker, man. He is basically placed there to continuously try to put that spin narrative in there for them globalists. So when you hear them killing his ass on the 5, know that he do not speak for African Americans. You ask him when's the last time he probably been to an African American neighborhood, he's going to laugh at you. Ha 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 ha. And he can't even fucking remember his punk ass. Sissy boy. This is a soybean boy sitting around a bunch of motherfucking carnivores. I could never understand why lions and jackals and hyenas would sit around the Easter rabbit.
Advisory yet for Chicago, where the murder rate is on pace to break the record numbers set in 2016. More than 400 homicides in the city so far this year.
They should have got Tyrus to say this. I would have respected if they got Tyrus to talk about this. Because it's like, he just reading from the teleprompter, man. He not even talking from his heart, man.
And most of the people...
Nigga, put some bass in your voice, nigga.
...killed, blacks or Latinos. Here's a closer look at the...
Blacks or Latinos. Here's a closer look at the bullshit I'm going to tell you. Because every time these guys say the truth about Donald Trump, I have to put my ignorant booger nose in it and I have to say some dumb shit.
Crisis on the South Side from an upcoming CBS
He's
News
clearly reading from the fucking teleprompter, man. Look at him.
Report.
That's a MAC-10, a semi-automatic weapon originally designed for military use and illegal in Chicago.
So why do you need guns with that much firepower?
Protection. It's dangerous out here.
Mm-hmm.
This Southside crew is affiliated with the group The Type.
How is it that only in democratic cities is shit like this able to happen? How is it that only in democratic cities is shit like this able to happen, people? I don't think you understand what I'm saying to you. How the fuck is it that only in democratic states does shit like this happen? This shit is beyond sad, people. Let me get to some nitties. Let me get to some nitty-gritties real quick. Let me drink some. Let me check something real quick, cause this shit is just crazy, y'all. You know, YouTube, they want to cut in on my feed. They don't want me to give you that raw. Let me get back to this real quick. They don't want me to show you, people. But I know I'm live. I know I'm live. Y'all see the feed. Y'all see me moving. Y'all see everything happening. So y'all see that I'm live. Y'all see that I'm live. I can see that I'm live. Yeah, they don't want me showing it, boy. They don't want me showing it, boy. They do not want me showing it. They don't want, and that's the crazy thing, man. Is how they play themselves so much and try to make it seem like it's something like we stupid or something. Like, that's the most ridiculous part about all of this. Like, they out they self when they do the moronic stuff like this. I'm dead live. I see myself as clear as day. And when they want to break up the communication and the information, and they don't want me to give it to you so you can have it, this is what they do, people. This isn't the first. If you are a viewer of my show, you know how I'm coming, people. And you know when I'm getting my Rick James on, what they do. Because I come through, I put my big black balls on the couch, I put my feet on the end tables, and I muck it up. Someone's a little bitter out here in these streets, man. They don't want my show to air, man. That's crazy, family. Y'all hating on me that bad? Oh, man. Oh, you guys are horrible, man. No, what happens is this, okay? The Democrats are, and this right here is speculation, but the only reason why I could even fathom all of these things to be truthful is because, let me state the facts, right? Now, this is my thing. I believe that the mayor and other city officials are getting funds off of the weapons that are being bought and sold in Chicago, as far as in terms of the prison time done. Although there aren't a great number of homicides solved, there are a great number of individuals who are locked up for possession of firearms. That is predominantly what people in Chicago that are arrested for. Okay? This guy has put the spotlight on his city. The mayor has put the spotlight on turning Chicago to a sanctuary city when it's being a sanctuary city for murder since he has taken office. A sanctuary city for murder since he has taken office. He does not go to sleep and worry about. I'm leaving this up here because I want y'all to see how YouTube is with the fraud right now. You understand? I want you to see how YouTube is with the fraud right now. But they can't stop this message because I'm too strong. See, the mayor goes home to a big mansion, has bulletproof cars, and doesn't have to worry about any of the things that black people have to worry about. In Chicago, I'm asking you to allow me to come speak. I'm asking you to allow me to come speak to the young black youth. And I don't care where you want me at. I don't care where you need me at. But I have something so important that they need to hear. This is something that's very important. See, you can only think that the mayor and city officials are complacent in your murder, brothers and sisters. Because when the president offered to send in the National Guard, and a lot of you be saying, yo, he going crazy. This nigga going nuts. That nigga need to be killed. This nigga's going crazy. Dog, no, you going crazy. No, you are going crazy. Bro, you going crazy. You going crazy if you think you're supposed to have to walk around with a gun. You going crazy. You going crazy if you feel like every time there's a situation between you and another brother, a black man, that you don't agree with him, that you have to take his life for that disagreement. There's enough rings for everybody, man. There's enough jewelry for everybody, man. Everybody can have. It's enough women for everybody. There's more women than it is men anyway, man. It's enough for everybody, man. But you're not supposed to be dying from a bullet on the streets where you was born at. That's not supposed to happen. If the National Guard, when they came into Chicago, they would have done a full infiltration on who established the guns, where the guns came from, and why they're being dropped off and targeted in all of these specific neighborhoods, the west side, south side of Chicago, so on and so forth. And why they don't find themselves near the affluent areas where the mayor can find himself dining late nights, enjoying himself, taking leisure walks with just maybe 2 security guards. Why hide what's going on? Because if the army is involved, if the National Guard is involved, they're going to find out who's doing it. Mothers, fathers of Chicago, black leaders, elders of Chicago, I'm asking that you give me the opportunity to come to speak in your city. I'm asking that you allow me the chance to speak in your city. Fuck Reverend Al Sharpton. This fucking coward has been a sellout since his inception of whatever the fuck you want to call what it is that he's been parading himself around as. But he has never been a fighter of the people. He has been a fighter for opportunity. He is an opportunist. I'm not coming with a group of people. I'm coming by myself. I'm coming by myself. I'm coming to do God's work by myself. I don't care where you want me at. But when I leave out of that place, if I don't have people with hearts, if I don't have people crying, holding their mothers, then I ain't do my job. There's a serious problem with everyone right now, where mothers are living in fear. And if you black, you know there's a code to these streets. Your mother is never supposed to be involved in what's happening in the streets. Little girls are being shot. Kids being shot before they finish school. That's not gangster. Killing each other's not gangster. I need you. I need every last one of you because they're strong. They real warriors. I need every last one of y'all energy. I need every last one of y'all vote. I need y'all to help me fuck this system. They killing us, dog. Look what I'm showing you, man. Look, yo, listen to what I'm telling you. Every day I hear people telling me that I'm crazy. I'm crazy. More people have died in Chicago than both the wars we fought in. Black people. Black people who would have had families. Who could have been soldiers. They will continuously tell you to say, fuck this flag like it don't belong to you. But dog, it belongs to you, just like it belonged to them. The thing is, it make these racist motherfuckers hurt so bad when you rock it, when you embrace it, when you make it give you what it's supposed to because you born here. And the only ones trying to infringe on that shit are the fucking Democrats. The same motherfuckers that are running the cities that we live in. Poison. Pure Nazi poison. They allowed an old ass Nazi to sit in Queens in New York City.
This shit for real. That's how they protect themselves. You know what I mean?
They let a shitty Nazi sit in Queens, and the whole entire time he sat there, they allowed him to, with impunity. No one from Obama's administration went into Queens to get them. No, it was Trump's administration that went and got his ass up out of here because somehow they think that he only Somehow they think that he only deports Spaniards or Muslims. But he sat here during Obama's term with complete impunity. No one stopped him. People of Chicago, man. Black people, everybody. You guys need a new leader. Who do we got? Who's actually speaking up for us? Who is doing it? There's only a few. And the ones that are speaking up for us, which of them are actually trying to unite all the people? Which of them is actually trying to heal your heart? I'm not trying to get you to come into some fucking cult. I'm not asking you to dress a certain way or think a certain way or be a certain way. I'm asking you to use your fucking head. That's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to be responsible for your fucking actions. And I'm asking you to help me say fuck this system. Because the only ones trying to infringe on your rights are the fucking Democrats. They're the reason why everything fucked up in the hood. There used to be so many black stores in the hood, you don't see none of them anymore. All of them are owned by people who are not even from this country. And I have no disrespect towards no Muslim or no none of that shit, but I have to put the shit on the table. It's got to be real if it's gonna be said by me. I could not go to any Muslim country with all my tattoos. I couldn't go to Yemen right now with all my tattoos, dressed like a New Yorker, with my shorts above my knees, showing my kneecaps, and open up a store. And in the store, I couldn't sell alcoholic beverage. That's haram. It's haram. You know it and I know it. And any true Muslim believer will tell you that the person that touches it, the person that drinks it, the person that makes it, the person that stores it, and the person that sells it will not be able to taste any of the sweet wines of paradise when they die. The thing about me is this one is prepared. I know the Fatiha. I know how to call her Dawn. I have read the Quran more times than most people. Yes. You could not tell me that I could come to Yemen and sell alcohol. No. You couldn't tell me that I could come to Yemen and father children with women, yet not actually be there and take care of them. Nope. I couldn't come to Yemen and make crack pipes and sell guns. It happens in our hoods. I know. See, the shit about me is you can't lie, dog. We not gonna fraud and fake and make it seem like the dumb shit we doing is okay. Oh, now Tone blowing shit up. Tone, no, I'm not, you fucking idiots. I'm putting the shit on the table so you see what it's hitting for, man. You couldn't do this shit in their country, man. Why the fuck are we allowing this shit to happen in our neighborhoods? We sought to play the victim role so much we allow motherfuckers to make us the victim. Then you get mad at me when I stand up for you and I say no more. No more. I am the new leader of this walkaway movement. Not the founder of it. But I'm the realest motherfucker that is doing it right now. If we don't wisen up, people, we won't have a planet left to be on. These people are fucking making human cakes and cutting them up, and you dumb motherfuckers are running around squandering your fucking time, your children's time, and your fucking resources. We are beautifully strong and smart, but yet we are so fucking complacent in this system of give me what you got. So much that women are looking at you and they looking at you thinking what they can get from you rather than what they can bring to the table, brothers and sisters. They got women so self-conscious about themselves in America right now, they can't wait to get an income tax check to go cut up their bodies so they can try to conform to feel better about themselves. And this is how fucked up we have become as a society. And all of this shit is liberal, established globalism. That's it. Cut and dry. They keep screaming this socialist shit to you black people, and what you're not understanding is that shit is legalized pandering. You know how it is when you walking down the street and somebody coming and they always got their fucking hand out. They got the hand out. They fucking got the hand out. They got the hand out. Now imagine if you get paid $700 a week. And at $700 a week, you got to literally give up $320 out your fucking check. That's socialism. Don't worry about where the fuck that shit went. It's gone. The only thing they don't tell you is this is what happened in Nazi Germany, people. Now, this is to all Americans who screaming that socialist shit. Aside from them white liberal Democrat motherfuckers that are trying to do this shit in the first place because they want to make a fucking a new world order, a one world government. They've sucked all your resources out already. You don't own anything in your communities that allows you to replenish anything in your community. What do we have? Most people that try to get anything in black neighborhoods, they're black and they get liquor stores or tattoo shops or hair salons, but these things are businesses that require people to want to go to you. Aside from the liquor store, that's an addiction. People are addicted and go there because of an addiction. They feed this addiction to drown their sorrows because the current shithole they're living in, they're trying to blame it on white folks, and the white folks that are doing it, blame it on a set of another white folks saying, it ain't us. It ain't us. It's the Republicans. When it's really the Democrats. It's really the Democrats. You will hear them know, we love the blacks. We gave Black Lives Matter $100 million. Shut them the fuck up. Hillary took them on the trail with them. After they knew what happened in Haiti. After they confronted her about what happened in Haiti. After they confronted her about the remarks that she made, she was quick to give them the money to shut them the fuck up. Because at some point, someone's got to be for sale for something. People are going to tell you eventually that because I'm working with the president and for the president, and then I'm working with Candace, and to make sure that the president gets reelected, that somehow I've sold out. People, that's some bullshit. Anyone that has known me since the beginning of this knew I voted for Donald Trump and know that I never voted for Barack Obama. Anyone that has known me knows that I have talked shit about Barack Obama his whole entire presidency. Anyone. You can fact check it. I have a great disdain for ignorance and for white liberals because I understand who thy enemy is. The news media is full of shit. That's the reason why I gotta be here putting myself on the front line. There is no bought and paid for Tony X. Everything that I need, I have already. I'm ready. I'm ready. They're destroying us. They're teaching us how to destroy ourselves, and we are doing it at a rapid rate. We do not care. We don't care at all. We are so quick to kill each other. Yo, right now with so many brothers mad at me, upset with me. Why? Because I'm telling you, you wrong for taking somebody else's life. That you wrong for putting your life in jeopardy. That you deserve to be here. You deserve to have a part of the American system if you allow it to work for you, if you make it work for you. Because nothing's going to work for you unless you make it work for you. Look at all you entrepreneurs out there. All you guys out there are hustling, man. Whether it's clothing, whether it's Instagram clubs, or clubs on Instagram. Whether it's making your own clothing, your own pastries, your own car services. There are so many beautiful black businesses on Instagram. Black businesses that are catering to one another and showing a great deal of promise and networking ability between our races. You brothers in Chicago are real as fuck, man. I know y'all ready to go, man. I know y'all just need to know what direction to go in, man. Where to point that shit, man. Help me help you, man. I will come anywhere, man. Let me speak to you, though, man. I will tell you how to point that shit, man. I will show you where to point the anger, bro. I will help you stop killing yourself, man. I will help you hug the dude that just said he would kill you yesterday, because it could be this easy, man. And I could show you where to be upset at. I could take you to where you need to know the answers. I'm willing to come wherever. Anybody seeing this show in Chicago, anybody, I want to help. Let's see if I can get this up.
For the team.
The team?
We lost.
Come Friday, or maybe Thursday night, possibly Thursday night, but Friday the latest, you will see the unboxing of the new Mavic 2 Pro. Right now, this is a little drone footage, and I just got sidetracked, but I want to tell you, for people who are watching my channel for drone footage, I do have the drone on its way coming. We have a review, and we will be flying drone in Brooklyn, the heart of Brooklyn.
Lost a lot of talented individuals in the streets of Chicago that could have been president of the United States. They could have been governors, mayors, the biggest entertainers in the industry. Look at the skyline, it's beautiful. Think about how beautiful their talent is, and then you realize where you at. Now I got the racks. Marshall's with the loot, but who keeping track? You keeping at the thighs like he keep a sack. Run up on me wrong, same place where you be sleeping at. I seen it for a hat. They was nice or they saw rat. They do threats for nothing. When I'm passing through certain neighborhoods, if it's already a heightened alert of violence in that neighborhood and it's tension, you gotta hurry up and get from point A to point B. You can't be just, we call it lacking, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just be cruising through no neighborhood that's in war with each other, you know what I'm saying? Because 9 times out of 10, they probably don't recognize the car you in at the time, and they can mistake you as a shooter from one of their rival gangs, and they'll open fire on you.
Chicago hasn't had a day without a shooting or homicide since February last year. The hometown paper's been tracking every death. Most victims are young black men, often from a handful of neighborhoods. Many are the killers too. 4,500 Americans were killed in Iraq, this many in Afghanistan. More have been killed in Chicago since 2001.
Combined.
than in both wars combined. Doo-Wop was our guide to the parts of the city few outsiders get to see.
Chicago,
You guys stick here. I'm gonna let this.
I don't know how to reiterate
I'm
that. Like,
stick around.
ain't no second
I'm gonna
chances,
go run and check my soup real quick.
When
I'll be
we
right
turn
back.
these alleys
This is
right
gonna
here,
play for you guys,
already
so
see the shorties on top
you gotta
of the
hear
cars.
this.
They know the car. You gotta come through here slow. You can't come speeding up through our block. They'll shoot your shit up. And I'm talking about all of them in high school, you know what I mean? Like, this shit for real. That's how they protect themselves. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we out here for real. Ain't no plan out here on GG.
You gotta keep them shits for real.
Yeah, we out here.
So where we come now?
We're on the way to go see my artist, GGE Newski, and we like on the south suburbs of Chicago. He's basically restrained to the house because he's on house arrest.
Right, okay. In terms of the danger.
It's dangerous. It's real dangerous. You got people on this block into it with the people on the next block. It's right around the corner. You can't even go under the Vitlock. You can't even go around the corner because you into it with these people around the corner. It's a place full of madness.
Newski's on house arrest, accused of carrying illegal guns, a charge he denies.
My dream is to make it. I want to be a rapper. Just make it. Feed my family. That's all I'm focused on right now. Feed my family. Feed the ones who's loyal to me. People not loyal here no more.
You know, if you look at the percentage of people who are killed in America by guns, the vast majority are young black men.
Definitely. I mean, growing up with us, it was more about hustling and trying to get money. The younger generation now, not so focused on money. They're more focused on violence, killing, and, you know what I'm saying, all the internet, social media, wars, violence, and all that, you know, and then it just spills out into the streets, you know, and all day long they ride around trying to find somebody to shoot.
Is everything different now? You know what I'm saying? And it all started from the way they just took all the gang leaders out the hood. You know what I'm saying? It changed everything.
Doo-Wop took us to meet Bo Deal, a rapper from the West Side, the most dangerous part of the city. Like Doo-Wop, his music is drill.
My conscience can't break me. I deal with it. Motherfuckers love me.
Hardcore hip-hop, native to Chicago, that reflects a life of poverty, drugs, and violence.
The past few months, I done seen more people close to me and more people that I know that's been shot and killed than I have ever.
And everyone's got a gun.
Everybody got a gun. I don't know, listen, I never seen so many guns. Like, we had a lot of guns, but I never seen so many guns like now, ever. It's like they dropped. It's like they dropped off, like somebody dropped off crates of guns in everybody's hood. Like, it seemed like it was designed for a motherfucker to lose. Like, somebody putting all these guns in. Well, you got little kids and everybody got guns. And they don't got just little 22s. And when we was coming up, it was 22s, 25s, 38. And they got big guns and 30-shot clips and shit. I think that a lot of guys need to die in order to make it better. I think some of these niggas need to get killed and knocked off to get them out the way, make it a better place, because some of them.
Okay, so we've been stood here for like 5 minutes. I've seen 2 police cars, 1 ambulance kind of go by.
Yeah, I mean, it ain't safe over here at all.
It's fucked up. All you can do is pray. All you can do is pray. And try to live right, because life is short. And your life can end like that. So all you can do is try and help as many people as you can while you're here. Tell the people that, I tell all my brothers, all my family, man, I love you. I love you, because you never know when it's the last time that you're going to see him. All right, look.
Hello?
Hey, Doo-Wop.
Yeah.
That was good. What just happened? Why did we have to leave so quickly?
Because they in war around us. The 2 gangs that's around us, they in beat. That's why so many people get shot in their area. And somebody just got shot like a couple blocks up. He told me to hurry up and get y'all, you know what I'm saying, on the expressway, because it wasn't safe over there.
So it wasn't safe for us to stay?
Yeah, it wasn't safe for us to stay because somebody could have just pulled up on us and did a drive-by.
I travel the world, man. Like, I done lived in Europe. I done been in the military. I done been to Iraq. I travel the world, man. I done seen a lot. I view it as like a third world country, man. Like, this place not normal here. And we understand that. That's the crazy part.
Sometimes it does look normal. But this party on Duop's block is to remember his best friend, who was gunned down nearby.
It's a thing that the police authority don't like exactly what we do or the way we live. We actually don't like the way that we live. But when you're pushed into a way of life, when you're forced into a way like, how else can you live?
The house behind is where Duop grew up.
Now, I need to explain something. This is how lost as a people we are. The reason why I brought this documentary up is because they don't even realize that they are being used to show how ignorant they are. You have these individuals live on television with firearms. Some are smart enough to show to cover their face. But the main protagonist in this documentary openly carries a firearm, openly talks to individuals that carry firearms. And then look in the back. Look all the way in the back at the guy all the way in the back against the wall. In the middle. He's in the middle, all the way in the back. Do you see how old that motherfucker is? Do you see how old that motherfucker is in the back of that video? He's probably old enough to be all their grandfather. You would think that he would tell them, put them damn guns away. This man got a camera in his motherfucking house. Nope. The reason why the gun culture is so openly violent right now is because there are too many elders not being responsible for raising these young warriors. They mad, they killing each other, but they don't need to kill each other and be mad at each other because they're not the cause of each other's problems. But the ignorant motherfuckers like this motherfucker here in the background that's not teaching them right is the reason why it's a problem. The dude doing this video, man, had such a great opportunity to change his life. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about he was a veteran. He is a veteran. He could have used this opportunity that he had to build a platform to change things in Chicago. Instead, he's riding around holding pistols. I understand, bro. That's the way you gotta live. That's the way it is out there, man. I understand that. Like, I understand, like, you're trying to show them that this is what's going on. But you could have also been brave enough to show people that it could be different. You brought a camera crew to the hood all the way from the fucking UK. That took ability. You have all these young dudes now currently looking to get indicted. They're all indictable. Every last one of them that's in this picture showing their face around anyone with any illegal firearm. The only thing you've done is put yourself in harm's way and everyone else. To fuel a system that the Democrats need you to fuel, which is the prison industrial complex and then the grave. Got too strong out there, man. Y'all real strong out there, man. I see it, man. I've been to Chicago too many times. And I know not everybody thinks crazy like this. Because when I'm in Chicago and I'm out there dealing with people, man, they tired of it, man. Help me help you, man. I want to come. Yeah, I want to speak, but I just don't want to speak either, man. I want to demand change, man. I want to help you guys make change happen, man.
Doo-Wop's come back here to film his new video. Today it's abandoned, used by drug addicts.
Like, even though we love the hood, outside looking in, it look like we glorify the hood. We want to be out of the hood, though. That's why we work so hard at showing our potential, because we want to leave this place, man, for good.
Yo, man, homie just said, it may seem like we glorify the hood, but we trying to show our potential so we can make it out. This is their potential. Self-destruction. That is not your potential. This is not your potential. This will never be your potential. Unless you're talking about your potential demise.
For good.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my neighborhood, they start young, man. And it's like when you read the news headlines, that's the age frame they all dying there from gun violence. So we got to teach the kids how to defend themselves. It's senseless violence at the end of the day, but it's like, what do you do when you caught in that moment? You know,
Yo, he just said, you gotta keep. The thing that make it so hard to do these type of shows is that you know you're teaching the kids the violence, the senseless violence, but what can you do? You can stop teaching them senseless violence. You can stop telling people that this way that you
it's senseless violence at the end of the day, but it's like, what do you do when you caught in that moment? You know, you rather be caught with protection than without protection.
Saying that on red box niggas don't read nothing.
No, he ain't want to put his face on the news. He ain't want to put his face on it either.
The young people's doing the killing right now. 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds doing the killing right now. You know what I'm saying?
Z-Money's one of the younger rappers in the city, also on the west side. He's recently out of jail for violating probation.
This is one of the worst areas right here in the neighborhood. It's just in the police station right here. You know what I'm saying? So that shit don't mean nothing. Ain't no.
It's senseless
So
violence
listen
at
how
the end of the
listen
day,
to
but it's
this.
like, what do you do when you caught in that moment?
This how
That no red bottles, nigga, no red
That's how reckless these niggas is when he don't think. This nigga sitting on the porch, got a fucking ankle monitor on him. Clearly he on some type of probation or something. This fucking fool try to hand him the fucking split.
Doing the killing right now, you know what I'm saying?
How the fuck you try to hand him the split live on camera?
Z-Money's one of the younger rappers in the city, also on the west side.
Watch.
He's recently out of jail
Watch they
for
cut it.
violating probation.
This is one of the worst areas right here in the neighborhood. It's just in the police station right here. You know what I'm saying? So that shit don't mean nothing. Ain't no guidance out here. That's the problem. That's why I ain't like back in the day. Ain't no guidance out here. So it's like every man for themselves. See, back in the day, everybody need that gun. Because it was guidance. You knew not to go over there because this person right here was going to get on your ass. Now, it's every man for himself. You better get your motherfucking gun so you get your ass shot. And that shot might be killed. You know what I'm saying? Shut up. Because we all know, man, come from this motherfucker, you really going to sell drugs. You going to rob a motherfucker. You going to get you a bogus ass job. Pay you $8 an hour. Then you going to have to go sell some drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit all is a maze to you, to right back
Created by fucking Democrats.
on the block. I said,
Can't really come outside at night. When my granddaughter come outside, I have to come outside with her. When I walk back in the house, she's right behind me going back in the house with me. So
because of what? What are you worried about?
we don't know who's gonna come down.
That's crazy. See how they fucking with my sound, people.
To come outside, I have to come outside with her. When I walk back in the house, she's right behind me going back in the house with me. So
because of what? What are you worried about?
we don't know who's gonna come down here shooting.
Man, that come through doing all this shooting, man. The shot this fucking baby in the fucking stomach, man.
Her fear is real. This is what happened to one little girl this summer, 6-year-old Takara.
Breaking news update on the 6-year-old girl shot while playing outside her home as she fights for her life. A plea for witnesses to come forward.
I didn't even know that my daughter was shot. They steady shooting through the window and everything. So when my daughter we all ran in the house. My daughter said, "Mom, my stomach hurts." So I asked my brother, I'm like, "Did my daughter get shot?" He was like, "No." And me as a mother, I checked her anyway. And there, when I raised up her shirt, there was her intestine gushing out of her stomach.
How common is it that the shooting around here?
Every day.
Every day?
Yeah, every day. Yeah, every day. I am so scared for my kids. I tell you the truth, I'm really scared for my kids. You see this right above my head could have been shot.
That's what my email right there.
Yeah.
Watch out for
Yes, it's terrible. I really need to relocate.
No cap.
I can't just sit here and live in fear like this. It's terrible.
Hey, baby. To be honest, I got a son that's 7 and I got a daughter that's 4. And I haven't taught neither one of them how to ride a bike yet because it's just the environment they live in is not safe.
I love you.
Oh, I love you more. My biggest fears involving my children is them being caught up in the streets. You know what I'm saying?
Those shots fired at Hirsch and Tom and this indiscriminate.
Chicago's had more killing than LA and New York combined this year. The city looks set for another year of record killing. The Chicago PD ignored our request for an interview.
Was that from the Hollywood
I'm just trying to change the cycle, you know, and it's hard when you don't really have help, you know what I'm saying? Like, and in a way, it's like we put in a weird position, you know what I'm saying? Because
Here I am, people. I'm sorry.
Hold on, cut. That's why we do.
My pops when I was 7 had to man up. He introduced me to the hustle, told me band up. I got my grams up, the youngest of my mama kids. I bagged it up.
I'm glad I got to touch on the Chicago situation.
I was wild as hell, nailing at the age of 10. Dice game, smoking herb, role models, well was still a strong mama, but the streets where we hung out. My homies spent a lot of nights, they mama.
I'm glad I got a chance to talk about Chicago a little bit. We'll get it up there a little bit. We're gonna get into it though. We're gonna get into Chicago. But I just had to touch on it because people, yesterday's show showed you what it's like when you leave it to Democrats. You've seen what happened in California. Everywhere they've had control, they turn into a shithole. New York has so many fucking illegal immigrants, it's ridiculous. Today I was in the DMV and I watched this black lady tell the Spanish lady who didn't speak any English that she wasn't going to allow her and her daughter to skip her. She was waiting online. And I'm Puerto Rican and black. I know bitch when I hear it. Not everyone is like this. But the Democrats have created an environment where a lot of these people feel like they're more citizens than black Americans are, or have more rights. Democratic policies have led them to believe that this is true. Democrats don't give a fuck about what happened to black people, not more than they do about illegal immigrants. Wouldn't you feel the same way? Wouldn't you act the same way? The perception is the government doesn't care about black people. Globalists don't care about black people. Democrats definitely don't care about black people. About to get into the chat. See the number up. I'm taking calls. Anybody 1 and 2 call in. I'm taking some calls before I get up out of here. You know what time it is. See if I can get a phone call about Dr. Martin Luther King or anyone that just found out that the government is responsible for his death. If you're just now finding out about it from my video, please give me a call. The number's on the screen. I gotta give Lance his card. I believe I got it over here somewhere. I'm eating soup, vegan soup. Butternut, squash, and kale. I'm not gonna lie. You know Amazon is the devil, but Amazon make it hard to not order from Amazon, dog. But eBay catching up. I don't think LeBron James is satanic. I just think that he's definitely someone who's either truly naive to what's going on, because you could live a sheltered life and not know to the extent of what is going on, or maybe he's just out for himself like Jay-Z is. I definitely exposed Jay-Z. This shit be going on. Give me 1 second before I have to text my baby mama. 1 second. Thank you, people, for being so patient. I had to text her. She's an incredible person. She's about to finish school last term. She can be all that she can be. We had a great audience today. This damn chat was jumping. I guess a lot of people be afraid to call. I do get some text messages, but a lot of people be kind of spamming me. I don't know why. I don't really answer anything, any calls or anything, unless the show is on. So anyone trying to text that number or after the fact, pretty much get blocked, unless you're texting about like a show idea or something. But you can't really try to spam the channel. I'm not gonna let it go down. I need you guys to stay safe, stay healthy, stay American. I want to appreciate everybody for tuning in. All my moderators for keeping the chat honest. The chat is always jumping with great ideas. I want to thank everybody for coming in there. And hopefully I gave you guys something from this channel today. One.